In this video, I redesigned the evolutions because let's face it, some of them are mid, and yes, I'm talking about Flareon. Fuck Flareon!
Shadow the Hedgehog's a bitch ass motherfucker!
Now, it's no surprise that Eevee is a fan favorite Pokemon. I mean, it's got 8 evolutions, but some of those evolutions don't look so good. So today, we're going to be redesigning them. Let's get started. As you probably gathered from the intro, I don't like Flareon. I don't like Flareon's design. Actually, I think Flareon's one of the worst designs out of all of the evolutions. It's not horrible or anything, but it's definitely not good. I mean, just look at it. First of all, its colors, it's like ketchup and mustard, and what the hell is this thing on its head? It looks like a turd. But I think the main reason I actually don't like Flareon is because it doesn't live up to other fire Pokemon. Like, have you seen some of the fire Pokemon? They look so cool, but Flareon, to me, doesn't really even look like a fire Pokemon. So, when I redesigned Flareon, I really wanted to try come up with a design that embodies fire. So here are a couple of the ideas I came up with. So, as some of you might be able to tell, the first design here on the left is inspired by Ninetales, the fire Pokemon. So with this design here, I'm going to try and see what Flareon would look like if it was kind of like a fire spirit, or made out of fire, the entire body. So yeah, that's that design. I do kind of like how it turned out. So for the second design, I had another idea. What if Flareon's tail and fur were fire itself, like with some of the other fire Pokemon? Like, off the top of my head, Charmander, its tail has got fire at the end, so I wanted to try something like that. It's also got flaming eyes, as you can see here. And I made the fur black, because black kind of reminds me of Ash, and that is also kind of ties in with fire. So I like that design as well. So this third design here, you can probably tell I tried to make it look like a dragon, because a dragon kind of embodies fire. But I don't actually like how this one in particular turned out, probably because it's got a bunch of clashing parts, like it's got horns, fire eyes, another horn, that fur doesn't really match the design. So in the end, I ended up choosing the middle design here to go with. Now, I really like this design. As I said before, I really like, instead of having normal fur for like a tail and a mane and stuff, it's got fire instead. I think actually a couple other Pokemon other than Charmander have this kind of thing going on, so I'll probably put them up on screen if there are. So with this version of Flareon, I wanted to kind of capture an aggressive and passionate kind of Pokemon. So fire coming out of the eyes is obviously like a trope when someone's really passionate, so that's what I kind of did with that. So in the end, here is how this design turned out. I'm actually really happy with this Flareon redesign. I quite like the black mixed with the orange of the fire. I don't actually know if a lot of fire Pokemon use black. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I can't remember, but I do really like how black looks on fire Pokemon. I wish they used it on more. And obviously the fire as a tail and mane, that's really cool too. So yeah, this design, really cool. If this was actually a Pokemon, I think I'd definitely use it. Next up, I'll be redesigning Glaceon. Now, Glaceon is another one of the evolutions that I'm not actually too fond of. It's not bad or anything. I think it's just maybe I don't like the shades of blue used. It's got these weird diamond patterns on it somehow, for some reason, that I don't think actually fit in the design. And this tail is just atrocious. That is not a tail. It's like one-dimensional. So when I redesigned Glaceon, I was quite inspired by Alolan Vulpix, because that's one of my favorite ice Pokemon. I think that's probably because of the colors. I feel like just white and a bit of blue is what ice Pokemon should look like. So here are the two designs I came up with. These designs are actually kind of similar, but not really. So the design on the left is definitely more fluffier. You can definitely see this with the tail and the mane. So my idea for this one was an ice Pokemon should probably like adapt to cold climates, and to do that they'd need a lot of fur and fluff. So that's what I was going for with this design. And in the other design, I tried to make it look a bit more mysterious or mythical, opposed to the other one being cute. So it's a lot more slimmed out with the fur, and instead of having a regular tail, it's kind of got like an icy mist to it. Oh, and I also gave both of them this icy unicornish horn. I just think that's pretty cool. I didn't really have a reason to add it, I just liked it. So in the end, I actually chose the left design because I really like the idea of an ice Pokemon being fluffy to fit in with its environment. So that's the design I chose, and to reiterate, this design's got lots of fluff, fluffy tail. So yeah, I chose the fluffy design. I didn't actually touch on these before, but you can see that there is some fluffy leg bits on there too. I also made its fur on its face kind of look like the wind's blowing in it, I guess, because you can see its fur is like going backwards, being pushed back. So I think that kind of fits with like windy, icy climates. And I don't really know what inspired me for the ears, but I really think it fits with icy, with the ice type. I don't know why. Maybe it's like reindeer or something, little spikes coming out, but I really like the ears. And yeah, so this is how the final design turned out. I'm really happy with this Glaceon redesign. I definitely prefer it over the original, probably just because of the colors and because it's fluffy. I mean, who doesn't love a fluffy Pokemon? But yeah, so this one turned out really cool. On to the next redesign, we're redesigning Jolteon. Now Jolteon is another evolution that I don't actually like the design of. I don't really know why. Maybe, I think my main problem with it is it doesn't have a tail. Well, it kind of does. It's got these little spiky things, but it doesn't really feel like it's got a tail. And I feel like that really puts me off of it. So in my design, I really wanted to fix that. So here are the two designs I came up with. And as you can see, probably straight away, instead of giving it a normal tail, I gave it, both of them, a tail made of lightning. So I really like this idea, probably because of the shape design and just how cool it is. Yeah, that's my idea for the tail. So the design on the left, I tried to go for a sleeker look, but also still keep the zappy bits of fur. You know, on like the original, it's got a bunch of fur coming out, so it looks like it's got zap. So I added a tiny bit of fur, of scruffled fur, or whatever you call it, around the Pokemon. And the other design, I don't really like this design that much. I think it's probably because it's just trying to do a little too much. Like you can see there's black around the eyes. It's got some weird tufts of fur on its front legs. It's got more electricity on its hind legs. It's just doing way too much. So obviously I chose the left design. I really like this design. I think it's probably because it maybe reminds me of Pikachu, which obviously is a really cool electric Pokemon. That's why it's the main face behind Pokemon. And I also didn't talk about the colors I use in this Pokemon. So the original Jolteon, it's got like this weird shade of yellow, white, and also purple. I don't think purple fits with like an electric or lightning type Pokemon. Instead, it's got more browns and lighter yellows in there. I feel like that kind of, it just fits better than the purple used in the original. So yeah, here's how this design turned out. And yeah, I'm definitely very happy with this design, especially with the tail. I think the tail looks sick as all heck. I think this is a really cool idea. I really like how this one turned out. And next up is Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon's design is fine, it's okay, but it could be better. My main problem with Vaporeon, I think, is this weird fin thing it's got around its neck, that little white thing. I don't know why I don't like it. I think it's probably because it reminds me of a ruff, which is like these things that people from the 16th century used to wear. I just don't feel like that fits with what Vaporeon's trying to go for. So here are the two designs I came up with. So the design on the left here, I tried to go for like a sea princess or sea king kind of looking thing. So you can see it's got a lot more colors than the original Vaporeon does. It's got pinks, purples, dark blues, golds, whites. And I tried to use all these colors because to make it capture, like, because the ocean isn't just blue. There's like lots of coral and stuff, and coral's pink and orange and stuff like that. So I kind of wanted to use those colors in that design. And obviously its head bit is inspired by a jellyfish, because I thought that's just a cool sea animal I could take inspiration from. And it's also got these two jellyfish things coming out, which are kind of its ears, I guess. But also, I guess they'd also act like as its arms. Like, you know, Bulbasaur, how Bulbasaur uses these vines as like an extra set of arms. I feel like this version of Vaporeon would use these tentacles as arms. And so the other design is definitely a lot darker, scarier. You can see the tail is definitely inspired more like shark-like. There's a bit of anglerfish in there, obviously with the like glowing eyes and the glowing bulb on its head. But in the end, I ended up choosing the design on the left, because I just think the evolutions are a lot more cute than scary, so the one on the right just doesn't really fit. Yeah, I ended up choosing this one. A couple of things I didn't touch on before is original Vaporeon's tail. It's really boring. It's just a basic tail. So this one I tried to make it a lot more mermaid-like with a lot more flowing shapes. I've also decked it out with a crown and like a necklace thing. So I think those are cool. So yeah, here's how the final design came out. And again, I'm really happy with how this design came out. I especially love the colors. I feel like it's a lot more sea and ocean-like, just with all these pinks and blues and golds and stuff like that. So yeah, there you have it. I redesigned 4 of the evolutions. I think they turned out pretty well. So yeah, what do you guys think? Do you prefer the original designs or my designs? I'd love to hear your guys' opinions in the comments down below. Oh, and also, I'll be making a second part of this video where I redesign these 4 evolutions that I didn't touch on in this video. If you want to be notified when that comes out, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell icon down below. And that's all, bye!